So, what if I told you that sometimes the kindest, most helpful thing you can do for someone is absolutely nothing? It sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're diving into a really challenging idea, all based on one single, pretty provocative source. And it's a concept that goes right against one of our most basic human instincts, the desire to help.
Just let that title sink in for a second. The 5 types of people God commands you not to help. Whoa. See, this isn't just a friendly suggestion from our source material. It's presented as a divine command. And that right there, it just immediately makes you stop and ask a really tough question about your own compassion.
You know, for most of us, the immediate gut reaction is, yeah, of course, compassion is supposed to be universal, right? It shouldn't have limits. But the source we're digging into today suggests something totally different, a framework where true compassion actually requires some serious judgment.
All right, so let's just call it what it is. This is a truly controversial command. It basically forces us to slam on the brakes on that natural instinct to jump in and help, and instead to actually think before we act.
I mean, think about it. We're all taught from a young age that helping is good. It's a virtue. You see someone struggling, you offer a hand. That feels like the right thing to do, always. This idea, though, it confronts that head-on. It suggests that not only is it okay to say no sometimes, but that it might actually be a spiritual duty.
So what's the big idea behind a command like this? Well, it all boils down to this concept we can call divine boundaries. But what in the world does that actually mean?
Okay, so a divine boundary is way more than just, setting personal limits for self-care. It's about elevating the very act of saying no. The core idea here is that there are specific times and specific people where the most spiritually correct, the most righteous thing you can do is to step back and not help. And this just completely reframes the whole act of refusing. It's not a failure on your part. It's not a lack of compassion. Instead, it's presented as an act of spiritual obedience. That's what the source means by a sacred no. It's a refusal that's based on some kind of deeper wisdom, one with a purpose that you might not even see at first. So what's the logic behind this? Well, first, it's about discernment, not indifference. You're not just ignoring someone. You're actively thinking and making a choice. Second, it's about protection. You're protecting your own energy, your own resources, so you can actually be effective when you're truly needed. And third, and this one is huge, it can be a catalyst. Sometimes our help is really just a crutch, and by stepping away, we give that person the space they need to finally learn to stand on their own 2 feet. And this, of course, throws us right into some really tricky ethical waters. I mean, if holding back your help can sometimes be the right thing to do, that pretty much turns our normal moral compass upside down.
So you really have these 2 clashing philosophies. On one side, you have universal compassion, the idea that we should help anyone and everyone, no questions asked. But on the other side, you've got the source's idea of selective compassion. It's not about being cold or uncaring, it's about applying compassion with wisdom and directing it where it can actually do some good instead of harm.
And really, this question is the absolute key to understanding the whole argument. The entire idea of divine boundaries is built on the belief that yes, absolutely, helping the wrong person or in the wrong way can be incredibly harmful.
So how can helping actually hurt? Well, this is where the source gets really specific. It warns against helping the slanderer, someone who repays your kindness with betrayal. Helping them just enables their destructive behavior. Or what about the willfully ignorant, who just won't learn from their mistakes? Helping them over and over again actually prevents their personal growth. Then you've got the manipulator, who's an expert at exploiting your kindness. That just completely drains your energy. And let's not forget the professional victim, who thrives on being helpless, while your help just fosters more dependency. The source even mentions the proud, who ask for help but then refuse to take any real advice. In every one of these cases, the argument is that a sacred no is the only thing that can break the cycle.
And this is where it all gets incredibly difficult. Because to follow a guideline like this, you have to do something really complex. You have to judge. You see, to obey this command, you can't be passive. You have to actively assess a person and their situation to see if they fit into one of these do not help categories. You've got to look at the patterns, you have to make a call, and then you have to carry that heavy responsibility. Which brings us to the biggest question of all. Who gets to decide? Who on earth has the wisdom or the right to look at another human being and label them as unworthy of help? The source implies the command comes from a divine place, but the person who has to carry it out, that's human.
That puts this enormous, crushing burden of judgment right on our shoulders. It's a massive ethical dilemma, and there are no easy answers. And that's the central challenge of this whole fascinating idea.